Shironeko Project, Zero Chronicle, begins by showing a world where there are two kingdoms with very different circumstances. Those kingdoms were the White Kingdom, which hovered above the sky, and the Black Kingdom, which was on land. The residents of the White Kingdom were protected from the monsters because of the light, while the residents of the Black Kingdom down there were quite difficult to survive the rampant monster attacks. So, they always feel jealous of those who live above the sky. On the other hand, the residents of the White Kingdom think of the Black Kingdom as a threat, because the King of Darkness always starts wars to attack the White Kingdom. One day, monsters attacked a village in the territory of the Black Kingdom. A boy, trying to protect other children who are younger by taking them to a safe hiding place. However, his efforts were in vain, because the monsters managed to find their whereabouts and killed the children. All the villagers fought hard against the monsters' attacks, but they weren't strong enough to face the monsters, and ended up dying, with the boy being the only person who survived the attack. The boy, who seemed to be in deep sorrow because all the residents in his village had died, then dug a big hole in the pouring rain. Not long after, a man in knight armor arrived, and asked the boy what he was doing. The boy told the man that he was digging a hole to bury the bodies of the slain villagers. Seeing the boy, who was so frustrated and concerned, the man asked the boy to stop digging, and gave the boy a piece of bread. Because he was very hungry, he immediately devoured the bread until nothing was left. After that, the knight named Skiers then asked the boy's name, but the boy says that he doesn't have a name. Also, the villagers called him as they wished, and he didn't mind that at all. Seeing the boy, who was about to continue digging deeper because he desperately wanted to get help from the White Kingdom, Skiers was irritated, then gave the boy a sword and challenged him to a fight. During the battle, Skiers teaches the boy the true meaning of fighting to protect everyone in the Black Kingdom from monster attacks. After which the boy realizes that the only way to achieve his goal, which is to protect everyone, is to become the King of Darkness. Skiers seemed pleased when the boy finally decided to rise from his despair and bequeath his sword to the boy. Skiers seems to be dying, and his meeting with the boy at the end of his life means a lot to him. Seeing the great potential in the boy, Skiers then sent him to the capital and introduced him as the Prince of Darkness, the King of Darkness successor. Meanwhile, in the White Kingdom, the Queen of the Light named Iris is fighting against monsters with her army. Even though Iris and her army managed to defeat the monsters that attacked their kingdom, Iris seemed worried that she couldn't protect her people any longer because the power of darkness was getting bigger every time and threatened their safety. Iris could also sense the embodiment of the King of Darkness increasing in power. Elsewhere, the Prince of Darkness encounters a man named Valas who attacks him, thinking that the prince has stolen Skiers' sword. After the prince told Valas about himself being the successor of the King of Darkness, Valas then declared himself as his servant, because Valas had the duty to serve the King of Darkness and also the successor. The scene then turns to the White Kingdom. Iris appears to be praying to the ancestors of the light at the altar, when one of her warriors announces that there has been an attack from a monster named Baal. Even though Baal attacked alone, they had a hard time blocking the attack because Baal was much tougher and smarter than the other monsters. Baal manages to break through the defenses of the White Kingdom's army and ravages the entire city. Before the situation worsened, Iris rushed to confront Baal and mustered her great power to defeat the monster. However, Iris was unable to match Baal. But fortunately, the White Kingdom managed to survive because Baal chose to leave there. Baal feels disappointed that he didn't find a formidable opponent commensurate with him in the White Kingdom. On the other hand, the commander of the White Kingdom's army, a man named Fios, met the soldiers of darkness who had infiltrated the White Kingdom while the soldiers were facing Baal. Fios realized that those soldiers were humans, but they were controlled by the power of the King of the Darkness, so Fios was forced to kill them all. Meanwhile, in the palace of the King of Darkness, there is a demon who thinks that the attack on the White Kingdom was just a futile effort, and looks annoyed that they have lost a lot of monsters and soldiers of darkness. But then, the King of Darkness arrived, and immediately destroyed the demon because it was considered to have disobeyed his order. Although the King of Darkness did not have a perfect form, only looking like a wisp of purplish-black smoke, his strength was unquestionable, as was his ambition to shroud the heavens and earth with darkness. After that, Valas met the Prince of Darkness, who asked the man to train him with the sword. However, Valas disobeyed his orders, and instead ordered the prince to learn various basic knowledge to lead the kingdom, because according to Valas, being a king not only has to have strong physical strength, but also has to be dignified, intelligent, and broad knowledge. After receiving training from Valas for some time, the prince's power has increased drastically as his knowledge has expanded. Therefore, Valas ensured that the prince was ready to take part in the sword ceremony, a battle arena to determine the official successor of the King of Darkness, as well as the holder of the long sword of the Black Kingdom. In the battle arena, the Prince of Darkness managed to defeat all the candidates, including a young man named Adele who was the second most formidable candidate after himself. Adele seems impressed with the thought of the Prince of Darkness who wants to become king without having to make others suffer, and is determined to bring about peace throughout the world, including the White Kingdom. On the other hand, the Queen of Light, Iris, also made a similar wish, in which she was also determined to bring about peace and prosperity, not only in the White Kingdom, but also all over the world. Iris hoped she could meet someone with the same determination as her. After the sword ceremony, one of the representatives of the Black Kingdom, a woman named Groza, officially announced that the successor to the throne of the Black Kingdom had been determined, and handed over the long sword of the Black Kingdom to the Prince of Darkness. As the first and second winners of the battle to determine the successor to the royal throne, the Prince and Adele were then sent to the White Kingdom as special representatives who would deliver a letter from the King of Darkness. They will be accompanied by Groza as an advisor. Long story short, the three of them finally arrived at the White Kingdom, where the Prince of Darkness was so amazed to see the White Kingdom filled with light and looked very beautiful. Before heading to the palace, Adele told the prince his plan, in which Adele would pretend to be the Prince of Darkness and take care of diplomacy with the White Kingdom. Due to the frequent feuds between the two kingdoms, the Prince of Darkness might be killed if they were not careful while in the White Kingdom. When they finally faced Fios, Adele managed to convince the man that they weren't here for war, so Fios lowered his weapon. The prince then delivered a letter from the King of Darkness to Fios, where they were then asked to wait while Fios went to the Queen of Light to deliver the letter. After Iris read the letter, she asked Fios to bring the messengers of the Black Kingdom to meet her. Not long after, the prince and Adele entered the palace of the White Kingdom, where the prince seemed so amazed to see the beauty of the Queen of Light. Iris told them that she had read the letter from the King of Darkness, and was very surprised to learn that the Black Kingdom wanted an alliance with the White Kingdom, even though they had always been at odds with each other. Adele then explains that Baal has attacked the Black Kingdom, and Baal is not an easy opponent to defeat, even for the King of Darkness. Upon learning that, Iris also said that she would think about the alliance, and would provide an answer in the next few days. Therefore, Iris asked the envoys of the Black Kingdom to stay temporarily in the royal palace, and they would be treated as important royal guests. That night, Iris remembered what the prince had said about their alliance that would save many lives. After much deliberation, Iris decided to make a truce and rushed to the Black Kingdom to help them fight Baal. Meanwhile, in the Black Kingdom, Valas and the troops of the Black Kingdom are battling Baal. A fierce battle was inevitable. Even alone, Baal is able to fend off attacks from Valas and his troops and launch a counterattack that overwhelms them. In fact, the fatal attack from the King of Darkness had no effect on Baal. Not long after, Iris arrived there and immediately tied up Baal. The King of Darkness helped the Queen of Light until they finally succeeded in defeating Baal, and the monster was locked up in the Pit of Tartarus, the deepest prison in the Black Kingdom. After successfully defeating Baal, Iris returned to the White Kingdom. However, due to the fight, Iris lost quite a bit of strength, as she used too much light magic energy. Iris then held a luncheon to welcome the envoys of the Black Kingdom and celebrate. Due to the difference in food between the two kingdoms, Iris decided that they should combine ingredients from the two kingdoms and mix them in such a way that it created a taste that was delicious and liked by all of them. After that, Iris took them to look for wild vegetables outside the palace. Adele then suggested that they form groups of two and compete to pick wild vegetables. Iris, who was paired with the Prince of Darkness, seemed to be getting closer to each other. Likewise, Adele is paired with Seema, a girl who is a close friend of Iris. They all seem to trust each other. However, Fios and Groza got jealous when they saw the Prince of Darkness' intimacy with Iris. However, the peace did not last long, because in reality, the two kingdoms only had a temporary truce, and sooner or later, they would return to war with each other. A few days later, when the messengers of the Black Kingdom were about to return to their kingdom, Adele seemed to be acting strange after receiving a letter from the King of Darkness. While meeting with Iris to say goodbye and get the weapon back, Adele instead attacks the Queen of Light. However, the prince swiftly parried the attack and slashed at Adele with his sword. The incident then made the relationship between the two kingdoms worse, and the trust that had just been reached in each other was instantly shattered. Fios then threw the Prince of Darkness into prison because he was considered to have committed an act that threatened the safety of the Queen of Light. Iris tried to stop Fios, but her voice was too weak. That night, a white cat helps the Prince of Darkness escape from prison, where the cat is actually the embodiment of Iris. When he reached the border, the prince revealed to Iris that he was the real successor of the King of Darkness. Iris said that she had known that since the first time she met him. The prince then promises that he will become a better king who will bring peace between the two kingdoms so that no one else has to suffer because of war. Iris also promised that she would fully support him. After that, the Black Kingdom intensified attacks against the White Kingdom. But on the other hand, Iris' power is getting weaker, so Faios decides to find the drip of light that can help increase Iris' power. Despite having to struggle through various obstacles to gain this power, Faios never gives up in order to save Iris. Having finally managed to get the drip of light, Faios rushed back to the palace to save her. On the other hand, the prince and Groza were exiled by the King of Darkness because of their friendship with the White Kingdom, so they were sent to destroy the monsters, while Valas and the royal army prepared to attack the White Kingdom with full force. Iris and her entire army tried to withstand the full blow of the Black Kingdom that was pounding them from all sides. They seemed to be struggling due to many of the Black Kingdom's troops, and the King of Darkness used his power to persuade the weak-hearted White Kingdom soldiers to defect. Iris then faces off against the King of Darkness one-on-one, where Iris finally learns that the King of Darkness has ambitions to become king forever. With the presence of the King of Darkness there, the darkness spread more and more in the White Kingdom, until the entire territory of the kingdom had lost its light and was enveloped in darkness. Iris, who did not stay silent, then did various ways to regain the power of her dimmed light. Elsewhere, the prince is battling Adele, who has been possessed by the dark spirit of the King of Darkness. Fortunately, the prince can easily defeat Adele with his sword. After that, the prince rushed into the battlefield, where he suddenly obtained the power of light that was able to make him fly high and head towards the White Kingdom. Meanwhile, Iris was completely unable to revive the power of her dimmed light because the power of the ancient runes had also faded. That's why, the only way left to eliminate darkness from this world was to unseal the power of light within her, which would mean that Iris would have to sacrifice her own life. At the same time, the prince finally arrived at the White Kingdom and tried to stop Iris. But it was too late. The Queen of Light had sacrificed herself and also disappeared with the darkness from the face of this earth. The moral that we can learn this time is that two opposites in the laws of nature can never be united and will always try to defeat each other.